But I think this is the challenge is that particularly, let's just talk about the Black community. I think sometimes there's this sense of undying loyalty and deference, even
Mhm.
when there's abuse
Yeah.
and mistreatment in family relationships, because they're saying, "Hey, that's my kinfolk, that's my family, that's my whatever," and we tolerate things that we ought not tolerate.
Yep.
But because
Yeah.
we're family,
Yeah.
we're expected to endure because that's my so and so. And let me just put my bias out there, Dr. Helm. I've been estranged from my father for over 10 years since my mother
Mhm.
passed away. And it's for the reasons that we're talking about here. Not to get into too many personal, but it was those kinds of boundaries that were being
Yeah.
crossed, behavior that was problematic. And it wasn't just one time incident, it was a
Of
series
course.
of
Yeah.
incidents,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And so I speak from that only as an example, and but also the struggle because you have other family members who are saying, "Hey, why don't it's your responsibility to fix this. You need to go fix this." I'm like, "How am I?"
Right. Well, 'cause,
But
so to your point, and I think this is an important point, right? That one, the relationship between a parent and a child, no matter how old the child is, it is the parent's responsibility early on to build the foundation of the relationship. So that's one, right? And if the parent doesn't do that, right, the kid doesn't owe the parent as they get to be an adult. You don't owe your parent, right? You hopefully respect them, but the house gets built with a strong foundation, right, to handle differences. So that's one. Two, we often don't have the skills, right, to renegotiate relationships, to work through conflicts. Sometimes parents dig in and say, well, I'm right and you're wrong. And as children grow up and become adults, they don't tolerate that well, or giving unsolicited advice or telling, criticizing. And all of those things can cause an estrangement, and it can cause undue damage. So the first thing in any relationship is you got to shut your mouth and listen to the other person's perspective, even if you don't agree and even if you don't like it. It's really hard.
it
My
is.
daughter just told me the other day, she goes, "You are not listening to me." Now, I don't think she ever listens to me, right? And I was just like, I said, okay, I'm sorry. Tell me what you want me to know. I'm not always the best listener either. And I have found myself as my kids get older, apologizing more and taking responsibility because they see things that I don't see. Right. And I'm hopefully modeling that. I don't know.
Well, no, but but I think you're spot on because I think one, there's generational differences, how our parents came up. There's a
Yeah.
lot of deference out of respect, right? Respect look like deference.
USA.
You
That
don't
was that.
y
Yeah.
yeah, right, but a lot of that came out of that slavery mindset of don't question authority because you might die. Right? And here we are in an age where we don't necessarily need to die. I mean, there's still death going on, don't get me wrong, but
For sure.
there's less of it, and we feel like we've carved out a space to have more dialogue, particularly between adults. Not a child who's always a kid, but adult children and their
Yeah.
parents,
Yeah.
and being held responsible for things that maybe we did wrong. And parents saying, "You know what? I messed up, and I'm so sorry. I
Yeah.
love you so much." And that's
Yeah.
what I
Because
think that's what children are looking for.
right, and, and there are always 2 sides to every story,
Of
right? There are
course.
2 sides to every story, but I think for parents, we screw things up. We just do. Like, you love your children, you do your best, you don't get it right. I'm already contributing to my baby's therapy fund. I'm sure you're gonna go talk about me. It's okay. It is
Good.
okay, right? Work that out. But, and I don't always think that I'm wrong, but there are times that I am wrong or I get it wrong or I misunderstand. So I always try to work on accepting responsibility for the part that I own because I'm aware that I got one real young teenager and then, two in middle school. And I want to have a relationship with them as they become adults, but the work that I'm putting in now matters. But I also don't have to always agree with everything they say, and they don't always have to agree with me. They know me, I know them.
What's up?
They know what's up.